as the saying goes, the devil's in the details, right? So now we're getting down to the fine details of the Prelude. One of those being the headlights. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about this Honda emblem, if I'm gonna put it back on or not. Gotta put the interior back together and put the radio back in. The window trim. Whether or not I want to put this VTEC badge back on. And this wheel doesn't look too bad. But this poor wheel here is angled in so bad it's not even funny. I don't know if y'all can even really tell on camera how bad it's angled in. We're gonna start with the front of the car. I'm gonna work our way back. But the final thing I'm gonna do is mess with the alignment. So like I said, we're gonna start at the front of the car. We're gonna start with re-clearing these two headlights because they look atrocious. I had to go find some painter's tape. And I got my roll of paper here that I'm gonna use to lay out across the engine bay and to kind of hang and drape around the bottom of the bumper and to use to mask off the fenders. Just hitting this with some 400 grit sandpaper. These are coming out, but that's going to take a little bit of work to get that out. I think it's like I accidentally hit the headlight with some brake clean. So it's going to take a little bit of sanding to probably get that out of the headlight. But you can see there's a lot of this yellow coming off this. If you're wondering about my band-aids, I got some nicks on my fingers from doing that ABS delete. This one had one on it earlier too, but my daughter, this one says chilling with my peeps. She had gotten some peeps band-aids for Easter from the Easter Bunny. So I'm gonna keep working this 400 grit till I get it looking like I want. Cause I need to get these marks out where that brake clean hit the headlight at. So I'm doing the 400, and this doesn't say it's wet or dry sandpaper, but I don't think it really matters. As long as you keep it wet. I'm gonna keep rinsing off all the buildup that's getting on here. Oh yeah, it's coming clean. There we go. Yeah, it's starting to clear up over there a little bit. All right, I think we're good enough now. We can hit it with a little bit finer grit. What did I do? So I thought I had some 800. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to 1,000, and we'll go to 2,000, and I bought 5,000. Probably really fine, not necessary. I saw some people say go 3. I just bought 1, 2, and 5, and this is what I'm gonna use to clear it. It's UV protected, gasoline resistant, so that shouldn't happen again if I were to hit it with cleaner, and it's scratch resistant. So I got that from O'Reilly's. Hopefully it turns out decent. Let's just fold this in half. This is easier to handle it. I'm gonna take this microfiber towel. It's not gonna really wipe anything up because this microfiber towels don't really soak up water. So yeah, it's gonna be very hazy for a minute. Yeah, and all my tape ain't sticking in some places, but that's all right. We can always peel it off and redo it. All right, I'm gonna hit it with 2,000. You want to make sure you get all the edges really good too. I can feel it getting way smoother and slicker. Now, I just rinsed it. I'm gonna go run and grab. I'm gonna get some paper towels because I didn't think these microfiber towels would work too good. I'm gonna go grab a roll of paper towels and some rubbing alcohol, and we'll wipe it down. I'll hit it with a 5K. I just want to make sure I got all the crud out of it before I hit it with the 5K. I'm gonna soak this down. And I'm gonna come back because this does work really well with the isopropyl alcohol. And I'm gonna give it a quick wipe, paper towel. And I did do one little hiccup on my part. I left my freaking tape. I realized it sitting right here after the fact. So hopefully this roll ain't ruined in this section right here that's wet. I'm sure it'll dry out and possibly be fine, but you never know. All right, so I'm gonna hit it with this 5,000 grit. Just because I have it and I bought it, I think it'll be all right. Oh, it's a sanding pad. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna rip that in half, and we're gonna use half over here. Apparently my Pandora is playing Metallica mix right now. I don't know. It beads off there really nicely. I haven't even done that yet. There's that sanding pad. Quick rinse. I mean, I don't really think you could go too fine on the sandpaper, really, in my opinion. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'm no expert on this at all. I'm just kind of winging it after watching a couple of different other people do it on YouTube. Dang, that looks, just being wet like that looks amazing. All right, this towel is officially no good now because it's soaking wet. And that burns my finger that's cut. Dang, that looks not as hazy after the 5,000. I'm gonna redo it. We'll call that first tape for sanding. I'll use a paper towel to dry everything off real quick. I'm gonna start with the bottom. The bottom had that good solid run that you could do right here. Slide up under the headlight. And I'm gonna re-wipe these headlights with alcohol to get any of the oil off of them from me touching them doing this in just a second. The only bad thing about this stuff is because it's been rolled up, it's a pain to keep it unrolled to do what you're trying to do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow the edge of this headlight right here and cut it out. This razor blade is acting like it's super dull. Let me switch it around. That's much better. I kind of stole this from Chris Fix's video. He did this with a trash bag, but I figured this cardboard paper was a little bit. I mean, I have it. I need to use it. I figured it'd be just as good, if not better, than the trash bag. There's one piece right here. I'm gonna just move there. I don't think I really need the tape. I'll put a little bit right there. I don't think I need to get crazy with it going around it. Because it's kind of, like a little bit right there. I know I keep contradicting myself. I keep questioning myself whether I should do certain things or not. Hey, you know, you want this to turn out good. I just use the back side of my razor blade to kind of go around and push the tape down and make sure it ain't touching the headlight. There. Then, barely got any tape holding it right there. I think I got it wrapped up enough now. We hit this headlight with a little isopropyl. We'll let it dry. I gotta get a picture of that before it dries. One more white. And we'll let it flash off 100%. Alright, now it's done flashing off. It's time for a little clear coat action. We'll let that dry. So they're not completely dry yet on the third. This is 3 coats. There's still like a little bit of like haziness in them. Y'all can see it maybe over here, but that's been drying out on every coat. Yeah, it looks like there might be a little bit of trash in it, the clear. But I'm gonna come back and wet sand this tomorrow and hit it with some compound. I'm gonna borrow a buffer from my dad. He's gonna bring it over when he comes by tomorrow. But man, that's huge, because like, I went ahead and taped this side off, but like, that's what they looked like before, right? Just massive difference. So I'm about to get started on that side. I don't think y'all need to watch me sand this one, because you already saw me do it here. But I'm gonna show y'all the final product on both being cleared when I get that one done. The light output's amazing on that one light. And that's high beams. Oh, the high beam's out on that side. It's missing. What the hell? I couldn't even see that with the headlight all foggy. So you know what that means? We'll just have to buy some LED bulbs for these headlights. So that way we have 4 good working headlights, because we're missing the high beam in this one. And I couldn't even see that before because of how foggy it was. I didn't even notice it until like just now, actually, when I tried to turn it on. Oh, I don't know if that's bad or good. I just noticed it. Crap. All right, let me get the sand on this side, and I'll get back with y'all in a minute. All right, it's been a few hours since I clear coated these headlights. Man, it's a huge transformation on the front of this car. Like, them nasty yellowed headlights did not do this car justice. Like, I'm gonna turn around and show y'all. So this is after 3 coats. Like, dude, it's insane how good this looks. And there's a slight orange peel to them, not much at all. Like, let me peel all this off of here. It's like unwrapping a present with how good it looks. Oh, this is like incredible how good this looks. And I know the car needs a wash, but dang. Wow. Talk about major improvement. Dang. If I had that rear seal put back in place on the back of the car, I think I'd back this thing out there and let the rain wash it off tonight. So I do want to give this clear coat some more time to cure. So I'm gonna give it overnight before I hit it with any kind of polishing compound or anything to try and brighten it up that little bit extra that it could probably use. Just because it has that little bit of orange peel to it. But man, I'm just blown away how well it looks, you know? Because that's the first time I've ever cleared headlights, and this is astonishing. And I did order some 3M tape, so I am gonna clean this off tomorrow and reinstall that when the tape gets here. You're probably thinking, why did you go to the store and buy it? It's like, well, A, it keeps me from having to go out. B, if I go to the store, I'm probably gonna buy more stuff. So $6 free delivery, and it's coming in tomorrow from Amazon. Why not? I don't know about y'all, but I can't get over the way these headlights turned out. Like, they look fantastic compared to before. So, new day. We're gonna take care of some, like I said, find the details, you know, trying to get everything wrapped up so I can get this car on the road. This has been taking way longer than I anticipated. I ordered some LED headlights for it this morning, seeing as I am missing a high beam over here and I have mixed match low beams. So those should be coming in Monday. Power steering fluid should be in today. And the stuff to redo the emblems. When I say emblems, I mean this one. And I think I might put that VTEC emblem back on the rear. So yeah, I'm gonna take some tape and mark out where they go so I can put them back in the exact same spots. Last night I was out here piddling around. I went ahead and wired up the doubled in harness. Got that squared away. And I came back here in the trunk. Cleaned up back here this mess that's been in here. And I put the cover back on for the fuel pump. Seal that back off. Yeah. So I'm still working on clips for that. The end piece I gotta go work on still for that as well. But I think what we're gonna work on today is I'm gonna get some 180 grit sandpaper right here. So I think we're gonna work on sanding all these little squares down across here. And I'm gonna put some tape across the window in a couple layers. We'll just give it a light little spritz of primer on each one all the way down. And that'll be good like that, because you won't see it again unless I pull the you won't ever see it again unless I pull that piece of trim back off. And I need to do something about that still. And it looks like, I mean, I know the paint's chipped right here, like something hit it. I don't know what hit it. And there's some rust right there, it looks like. I'm probably not gonna mess with that right now, but so I'm gonna take care of this real quick. It's been a long week. I'm kind of just running out of steam, I think, right this moment. So what else? I gotta do the alignment, and like I think I already showed y'all, there's still a terrible squeak coming from this side of the car. I think it's in the strut itself, so I might have to drop that whole strut out and disassemble it, grease every joint bushing that's on there, and then put it back in. So yeah. And I've been trying to print a new one of these because this one didn't come out right. I've been trying to print a new one of these for the gauge to sit in to replace the face on the center console, but I've been kind of contemplating trying to make a piece that'll fit right here where this ashtray goes, and just have it slide in and lock in, and I can put 2 gauges in here just in that one spot, so I can keep the factory cigarette lighter, and I keep this factory piece with the factory finish on it, because I think it would look a little bit, I mean, the other piece would look nice, the printed piece, but this would look way better sitting in there than the printed piece. And I would still have the factory cigarette lighter functioning and all that good stuff. So yeah, just a matter of getting it done, I guess. If you wonder why I'm using the sticky pad DA sandpaper, it's because I have a bunch of this left over from my Prelude when I was in high school. The white one I was gonna paint, but I ended up not painting. I think that's as good as that one right there is gonna get. I need to tap these back in a little bit right here. The sanding isn't going to be perfect, but it'd be better to have the heavy stuff knocked off and a little bit of primer on it. But I definitely need to, like, this is kind of, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but they're kind of raised on the lips right here. So I'm going to take a little hammer and a punch and kind of knock that back in flat. I got my little hammer and my little punch. Let's see if we can't tend to these humps and this where these clips go through. This one on the end right here is so bad. It really needs, like, I need the back window out and like cut a little piece out, and it ain't perfect by no means, but take care of these other three real quick. A couple of these, it actually knocks some more paint off, so let me give them. This one here didn't cooperate. There. This one didn't quite cooperate. I gave it another little bump. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this perfect. I just want to seal off what's bare right now. And anything that may flake off while I'm doing this. Real quick, I'm gonna get a rag and some brake clean. I'm gonna soak the rag down. We're gonna wipe it out real good. I'm gonna take a clean rag, wipe the windshield, and we'll put some tape down. And proceed to hit this thing with a little bit of primer. So that way we can protect all the bare metal. And what, I mean, I can only get it so good, right? Because really that needs to come apart and probably be hit with like a bee blaster, sand blaster or something. Okay, got some satin protective enamel here, and I have it set to the third nozzle, which should be low output. And I have the window, I have 2 strips of tape on the window. I won't try and get too crazy, and I got a little bit on the like I said, you won't, I know it's a different shade of gray altogether because this is like a flat coastal gray, but you won't ever see this again unless you might see it when you pop the trunk, but I highly doubt it. And it's better than it being bare and more rust coming in. It's better than it being bare metal and having more rust forming and not being able to stop it and all that. So I guess I could work on putting the interior back together. Seeing as I'm gonna try and 3D print something to fit in that ashtray. It's not really something that, I mean, I'll get back with y'all when I got it together, but that's not really something I think y'all want to watch me do, is reassemble that thing again for like, I don't know, third or fourth time now. So I'll get back with y'all in a little bit. So I got the interior pretty much back together. I was just trying to get the cup holder fixed because at some point, taking it in and out, taking the interior apart 100 times when I was doing the radio and various other things, the little rod that goes right here popped out. So I made one right here. Actually, let me back up. I actually found the little rod a little while ago, and I was trying to get it in, and it shot out like a rocket, and I heard it ping off a couple of things, and I couldn't find it, so I decided to try and make one. Well, I made one, but this one's too short, and I made it out of, where did I put the little, so I made it out of this, the RC car body pin. Basically, I just kept working it between vice grips, a vice, a little hammer, and some lineman pliers and needle nose until I got it into this shape. So I just got to make the next one a little bit longer and it'll work better. Probably actually didn't even need the vise. I would just use these pliers to begin with. But usually you learn all the errors in the first time around. Well, I'm gonna put it in the vise to straighten it up a little bit. Got a little bit better. So what I did was I caught about that much, bend it over a little bit more. I bent it over about maybe a good 90, right? Kind of like my first attempt here. Now, I'm gonna mark it, make it a little bit longer than what I had the original one. About right there. I mean, it's just a little bit longer, which is what I was looking for. And there. Voila. And now, just take this little, I'm trying to do. This little tab, back it off. Take a longer rod. There's a little hole for the rod to sit in. There you go. Just like new. Hanging up just a little bit of trash in the it works some of the time. I'm gonna fiddle with it some more, but I mean it works. At least hold it closed and you just a little bit of pressure and it'll pop open. But that's not what you want. You want it to push release. Right now it wants to just release all the time. Let me mess with it. Alright, I got it working correctly. So what I had to do was I had to put a bend in it back here to kind of give it a hump in that main run. And then I had to take where I 90'd it and bend it out this way just a little bit. I'll take it back out and I'll show you all what I mean. So as you can see, it comes up, makes this hump right here in steps. And then this I had to bend out a little bit. So at least it's fixed now. A little ingenuity kind of goes a long way sometimes in fixing some of this old stuff that you're definitely not going to get parts for. There you go. I'm going to put this back in the car. Alright, got the interior done. All the tools and stuff are picked up. So that's one thing down. Now I got my polisher. I know the pad doesn't look the greatest, but it'll work. We're gonna put a little bit of polish on this headlight and see what happens. I figure the worst thing that could happen is I have to sand it down and re-clear it, but hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think it really made a difference at all. It did, it was negligible at best. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna bother with the other headlight because I don't think this did anything really. I'm just gonna leave them alone. Oh well, it's worth a try. The 3M tape and the power steering fluid came in kind of late yesterday, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with putting the power steering fluid in this morning, and then we'll work on taping off and cleaning the areas where the emblems went and putting them back on. I think I've decided that I am going to put this VTEC emblem back on just to be a little different, you know. And I know this car wasn't originally a VTEC car, but I did like the emblem being on the car. Obviously, don't go there, it goes on the trunk. So I'm gonna come back here, clean this up, tape off around that, and I'll get that eraser wheel on the drill, and I'll get the old decal off. We'll put some of this on that, and we'll also do the same thing on the bumper right here for the Honda logo that I've knocked off. Let's get started with this power steering fluid first. Spilled a little bit. There we go. All right, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So now we're gonna take this thing off so that way we can try to put this back in the same spot, square and everything. You see there's a faint outline of where it was. So we're gonna try to achieve that same thing with the tape. I love this wheel. This thing is amazing. For like they're way a whole bunch of different things. This wheel is amazing. Looks like somebody tried to put it back on with like silicone maybe. Or that liquid emblem stuff. We're gonna use this tape. I get my razor blade and we're gonna lay this out So I think it ought to be. I think this ought to work really well. Let me, I don't know if that tape's gonna stick to that. I don't know if I'm gonna get that out of there, to be honest. Let me see. I don't know. Let me get a little screwdriver, see if I can't scrape some of that out of there. Coming out with a little screwdriver. Just gotta keep working the screwdriver back and forth until we get it all out, I guess. Just I'll go run inside and grab my rubbing alcohol. I brought it back inside to clean the bed plate in my printer. Alright. Yeah, I got as good as it's gonna get. Some of this is kind of rubbing off. I might be able to take the edge of this rag and yeah, I took some of it off. Alright. Let me go get my rubbing alcohol and we'll wipe this down and wipe this area down. Alright, I'm back. We got our rubbing alcohol. Quick wipe. Get this wipe. Oh my goodness, this is really... What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 3 strips of this on here. It might... I'm just worried that if I put it right here, it might be on this edge. On this outer edge, it might be too thick and stick out. It ain't too bad. I might put a little piece there, but I definitely want to come down right here on the main part of the H. I'm going to come right along this edge right here. I'm just going to cut it off before we get right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Put a piece right here in the middle. I don't know if this piece is going to stick or not though. I might have to do it the middle. I might have to double it up to get it to stay. I think I am going to put a little strip down each side right here. Just got to make sure I get it perfectly in the middle. Or perfectly across these two edges right here. Because if not, it won't. You'll see it really badly. I know this is exciting stuff here, but I don't think it protrudes out into the open area next to the emblem too much. There. There, good as new. I think it ought to stay. It might be a little crooked. Let's go do that VTEC emblem on the back. So this took me a little bit to get right. And this took me a little while to get right too. Trying to get all this on here. I think this will be enough to hold it on here. But I feel really good about the placement of it. I kind of centered it up right here. I think it's about the same spot it was before. I took a level, I kind of leveled it on the car, so I think it should be pretty straight. I think the car is sitting relatively low. I was riding the bubble to one side, just a hair on that trunk, but you know, that's probably not exactly straight. So we're just gonna send it and hope for the best with putting this on here. And if it doesn't work, hopefully it doesn't fall off while I'm driving and I lose it. This has been a pain, but to try and put this VTEC emblem back on. Like I said, I hope that it stays put. I think it will. Guess time will tell if it stays. Hopefully it stays on and it doesn't fall off again, because I don't want to have to redo it or get another one. And I tried my best to cut out everything and make it look clean around the edges. I think it all right, we're getting close to the end here. I kind of piddle with some stuff on and off. It's been about a week since I'd messed with the car at all. Been busy with other things. Definitely didn't touch it last weekend because I wasn't even home. But we're gonna do the last thing for this video. We're gonna get this alignment right, because this thing is janky. The alignment, man, like it felt like I was dog-legging down the road like that. So anyways, let me straighten the front wheels out. We'll take the jack stands with some string and we'll see how bad she's out, and look at the back and see how much adjustment we got. I think it's all in the back that needs to be adjusted. Okay, I got my string set up, going across the car, and it's touching the front here, not touching the back on this wheel. Touching the front here, not the back. And then the back is the opposite, not touching here, touching there. And same thing on this side. So definitely got some wonky alignment going on here. I'm gonna see if I can't, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to adjust it while it's on the ground. So I'm gonna have to jack it up, make an adjustment, set it back down, see how it looks. But I'm gonna crawl in here and look real quick. So I can reach the rears while jacking the car up. Got a few wrenches over here. The jam bolt on this side was loose already. Alright, so it's moving pretty good. It's almost perfect across here. Just need a little bit more. What you want, Bandit, huh? What's wrong? Let me come back in just a little bit with it. I went too far. I think that's gonna be close enough on this side. Let's do the other side now. The other side's gonna be a lot more fun because the exhaust is kind of in the way. But I think it'll be all right. What are you doing? Ah, no, don't lick me. This side. All right, so all the adjustments are already loose. You can see it's barely bumping the tire front and back right here, and about the same right here. It's floating just a little bit away from the tire. I might make one more little adjustment on this driver's side just to tweak it that little bit more, and I think it'll be all right. And then I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna adjust the fronts, because it's not like the RSX where I reach behind the motor because everything's up high and it's all in the engine bay. So the front I might have to jack up, adjust it a little bit, set it back down. I don't know. I'll figure it out in a minute. But yeah, the rear adjustment was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. The Megan toe arms that my buddy put on there really are nice. My battery died a minute ago, so I went ahead and instead of trying to, I really wanted to try and just get the front done, or at least one of them done, so I can get an idea of what I needed to do. So I adjusted this one. I got a slight toe in right now, which is kind of what you want, just a hair toe in. And the back, like I said, I already showed y'all, I think the back, it's just barely bumping the string in 2 points. So I was able to reach up under here and get to the adjustment nut, or the jam nut, break it loose, and turn the adjustment rod. So thankfully I didn't have to put this thing in the air to do it. I was able to do everything on the ground. Some like turntables and stuff would be nice to be able, so the tires turn a little further, but they seem like they're turning decently on the ground, straight on the ground anyways. I know there's a lot of like tricks and stuff that people do out there with garbage bags and everything, but I mean, my concrete's pretty smooth, and there's probably enough dirt under the tires to keep them moving. I hate to say that, but probably true. Anyways, I need to tighten the jam nut on this side, adjust that side, and I forgot about one thing I wanted to do once I got that done, and that is the squeaky from right here. I can't never do it for y'all. We gotta address that, because I cannot drive this thing with that squeak. So I'm gonna pull this whole strut assembly out. We're gonna disassemble it on the table, grease everything. So I gotta get that squeak to stop. Ain't no way I'm driving the car with that much noise going on back there. It drives me nuts. Especially an hour drive to work. Yeah, that ain't happening. So, like I said, let me finish this side up, and I'll come over here and show y'all. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna be able to show y'all, but at least y'all be able to see it get adjusted maybe. Alright, I wasn't able to set the camera up under there for y'all to see the adjustment going on. There just wasn't enough room for me to get in there with my arm, and enough light for y'all to see what was going on. But I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like. So, just a little bit off the front of the tire, give me a little toe in. We're touching on the back here. It's just barely touching front and back here. Which is the same on the other side, so I got the two rear tires straight. Just touching. Just touching. little bit of toe in and touching. So this thing should drive down the highway pretty straight and stable at a higher speed with that little bit of toe in. Now I get to move on to the fun part. I gotta pull that back tire and pull that strut out, which I've been kind of dreading to do. I really don't want to do it, but it needs to be done. So there ain't no way I'm gonna drive this car around with that squeaky strut. So let me get the floor. Let me get that back tire off the ground on a jack stand, and we'll get it out on the table. All right, got the strut out. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, it's definitely the strut, because there's no squeaking in any of this. But the thing that has me kind of concerned that it might just be the shock itself is you can hear it squeaking when it compresses, so I almost wonder if it ain't a bad shock. Well, we're about to find out. So I'm gonna rip it apart. So I'm not worried about using a spring compression on this, because as you can see, the spring has no tension on any of this. Well, these things aren't seized. Yep, I figured there's a bushing up here in the top. That's doing all the dang squeaking. Alright, I'm gonna smear a little more up in here. I think I'm gonna pop this washer off real quick, and I'm gonna smear some under there. So, I'm gonna pop that off. Pop the washer off on the bottom. I'm gonna smear some right here. And that's the thing with these energy suspension bushings, you've got to put this grease on everything. And I mean, if you don't, put it on everything, it's gonna just drive you nuts and squeak. I like to clean these bushings that are dirty like this. I've been cleaning them with a little WD-40 and a rag. I just happen to have a microfiber towel close by. Pop this one out. See, I already smeared a bunch of grease up in here, but I need to put more. So I'm gonna set that to the side. I'll spray a little bit on here. And knock my grease off. That's as clean as it's really gonna get. Put a little bit right here. It's just trying to. I feel like any little bit of prep work to help something, you know, it goes a long way. I know you're probably thinking, man, you're really gobbing this stuff on here. I'm like, yeah, I don't want it to squeak, because I really don't want to have to do this again, take this back apart again, because it's squeaking. All right, we'll do this top side. I'm gonna put a little bit on this metal washer. Right along the edges. That should be us right there. Wipe off all the excess that just squeezed out. So this is actually on the trunk side, so I don't want all this hanging out in the trunk. And then I'm gonna take this bad boy, smear a little extra up in here where the coil spring rods. This is like the absolute worst thing about these freaking bushings, is having to lubricate them. Because I mean, this grease is just so thick and sticky. Like I said, I lubricate everything with these things. And I didn't have any squeak coming from the driver's side, really. And it needed grease too. Sometimes having to mess with these bushings like this, these energy suspension bushings, almost makes me second guess even putting them on anything, just because they could be a royal pain in the butt. Man, don't tell me it's a batch. All right, my SD card got full, so I had to go transfer some stuff. But I did finish putting the shock together, and I did function test it on the ground. It sounds a lot better. I did go ahead and reinstall it since my hands were covered in that energy suspension grease. So it's all in and tightened up. I tightened this top stud a fair amount. If you look at it, and if you look at the one that's over here, it's not as tight. So I don't know how that's going to affect anything, because I generally tighten them up pretty good. That side don't look like it's tight enough to me. But I can always adjust this right here if need be. So real quick, I'm going to throw this wheel back on. We'll put this thing on the ground and see if it still makes noise. So real quick, we're going to put this thing on the ground. Oh yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna throw this wheel back on, set this sucker on the ground, and see if it makes some noise. Because I'll tell you what, it's a little bit defeating if it still makes noise at this point. That just means something else is not right. And we'll figure it out eventually. Keyword eventually. Oh, and another thing, I do want to replace all these locking lugs. And I gotta order lug nuts anyways, because I'm actually one lug nut shy on every wheel right now. So, yeah, I gotta order some. I had some other lug nuts around here. I'm gonna go look for them in a minute. But, let me get these on, put it on the ground, we'll see what happens. The only thing I hate about these Milwaukee's, that battery doesn't make good contact. You ain't using the tool. Well, it appears it didn't fix it. So I'm going back to my other statement that the shock is probably bad. So, yeah. We'll see. Maybe I can deal with it for a little while. Or maybe I'll try and catch some OT at work or something, and we'll get some coilovers for this thing. Go ahead and do the next upgrade. Oh, it's snowballing. Oh well. I know one shock would probably be really cheap. I'll probably just swing behind another shock real quick. Well, now we know the bushings weren't the problem. I've greased everything. It probably all needed to be greased anyways, but it's definitely in the shock probably, and I can't do anything about that right now. I either have to buy a shock or buy coilovers. Ideally, I would like to buy the latter and get coilovers, but might just spring and buy one shock or a pair of shocks for the rear and let that be done, because obviously it's something in the shock, something's rubbing. I don't know. Those are kind of cheap eBay shocks anyways. They're Stag Motorsports. I had them on the RSX. Actually, I think I still have them on the RSX. On the back I do. The front I have Coney yellows. Those are an adjustable, just like strut. They're not the height's not adjustable, just the lowering springs and that. But anyways, that's besides the point. So I might just do some research and find some decent shocks for the lowering springs. The thing in the back in the day, the shock to run was the Tokiko Blues. I don't know if they even make those anymore, or even make them for this car anymore. I think they quit making them for the other Preludes, the older ones anyways. So as I was editing this video, it started dawning on me that I didn't have an outro. So here we are. This is several months later, because I suck at getting videos out on time as I film them. And the Prelude hasn't really been driven much because I've run into some other issues with tuning and runnability, and I finally got them narrowed down this past week. But anyways, if y'all like this video, hit the subscribe button to follow for more content. Hit the like button. Drop a comment down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Of all the above, I don't care if it's positive or negative. Just drop me something, you know. But there'll be more content coming on the Prelude. I got some stuff coming on the Wagoneer. So stay tuned. Thank y'all for watching.